2023 was full of unexpected ups and downs. So what is in store for 2024? NBC senior business correspondent Christy Romans is here to break it down in English, which is what we love the most about you. I remember over the course of the year, the word recession kept coming up. Here it comes. Here it comes. What has it turned out to be?
2023 was supposed to be the year of the recession. Instead, it was the year of resilience. And I think you start this new year with that resilience still, the wind in our sails here for the economy. Look, inflation is coming down, as Kristen just said, rightfully, but it's still above the Fed's 2% target. So interest rates are still something we'll be closely watching this year. The Fed, as you know, raised interest rates all last year. There's three things that could happen. They could do nothing and just keep rates high here. They could cut rates maybe later in the year if the economy starts to slow, or if they get spooked about inflation, they could raise rates again. So all of those, I guess, are on the table. We just don't know yet.
This will probably change the landscape of how many Americans live, and there might not be any way to avoid it. You see, the world has gone through a pretty huge change throughout the past few years. We've seen inflation put a hole in the wallets of millions of Americans. We've seen the health crisis change people's perspective toward health and wellness. We've seen conflicts in Europe, the Middle East, and Asia that continue to pull the United States in, even though we're already dealing with problems here at home. I mean, we've seen such a massive shift in such a short amount of time. And here in 2024, we should probably expect more of the same, given that some changes are already happening deep into the end of 2023.
Some are receiving letters from landlords like this one, stating the city is implementing new regulations for rental properties. And to cover the incurred costs, we will be implementing an annual nominal fee of $50 per tenant to contribute to the city's rental registration fees.
$20 is too much. If I knew my landlord was gonna come fix my stuff and everything, then yeah, gladly, But if he doesn't come and fix anything I need, then I'm not gonna pay $50.
By December 31st, landlords must register each rental unit with tenant information and pay a $100 registry fee per unit. LA County also has a similar ordinance with a landlord registry fee of $90 per unit.
That it can be split between the property owner and the tenants. Frankly, if this is a mandate of the cities, they should be paying for it.
Landlords must also give renters notice if they're going to pass half of the fee to them. Some renters will see the fee start in January 2024. The Apartment Association of Orange County says they've already pushed back on the ordinance for its compliance with privacy regulations.
I requested that all property owners include the names of everybody in the unit, including their contact information, their email addresses, their phone numbers, and what language they spoke at home. We saw that as incredibly invasive.
According to the city, the rental registry allows the city to compile key data on rent-stabilized units, track allowable rent increases, monitor compliance with the city's ordinance, and communicate rental unit data. The Apartment Association adds that much of the information is already available in a parcel search.
Now, before you guys comment anything, know that I understand that there are always two sides of things. You got the renters and you have the landlords, right? Now, from the renter's perspective, they don't want to give even more cash if the place that they're staying in isn't even functional. But at the same time, landlords are probably thinking, well, I can't pay for all this stuff, and the ordinance allowed me to charge my tenants, or each tenants, $50 each, so it's all right. I know, two polar opposites if you ask me, but what's weird is that this is supposedly part of rent stabilization. Like, what part of language they speak at home is part of rent stabilization? But I want to ask you guys, who do you think that this actually favors? Does it favor renters, landlords, or is it the city? Because they're going to get paid for all of it. Comment what you guys think below, and while you guys do that, don't forget to hit the like button for the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm here 24/7, equipped and ready to give you guys information and updates that actually matters to us. So I appreciate it, guys. By the way, if you own a home, make sure your home is protected. Get your free home warranty quote. It literally takes about 10 seconds. There's a link down below in the description of this video. Now, from rent, let's talk about what people do pay for rent, and that's work. So a common yet problematic trend that will probably shape the early part of 2024 is going to be layoffs. You see, we've heard company after company tell us that they're going to be making changes, and some changes to adapt to the future. Or in other words, they're probably going to be cutting people off to save money. I mean, like, what else are businesses there for but to make profits, right? Although it still doesn't make these layoffs any less painful for the workers. So for 2023, I believe we saw around 250,000 layoffs for the tech sector alone. And with 2024, well, we might see even more of that.
Well, the biggest reason for these tech layoffs has been a correction of the overhiring that they did during the pandemic surge. Back in 2020 to 2021, we were in a very low interest rate environment. Tech companies were booming in demand from people staying at home and turning to tech services more and more. And so these companies were able to go on a hiring spree, and they invested aggressively in initiatives that were speculative or wouldn't pay off for several years. Now, of course, the climate is entirely different. We're in a period of interest rate hikes. And so that's causing these same companies to now cut back and correct for that overhiring from before.
Okay, so now we're in talk of cuts. So does 2024 mean we rectify that, we see more exuberance, more hiring, or is it actually slower and more specific? Like, yes, we'll hire, but only in AI.
Yeah, well, after seeing actually some declines in layoffs over the course of this year, the past 2 months have marked an uptick in the tech layoffs. And I do expect that to carry over to early next year, because the year end is a natural time to conduct a layoff as it coincides with annual budgeting. So as companies in tech are taking stock of their full year performance and are looking ahead to 2024, they're finding that job cuts are necessary to improve profitability. So I do expect it to remain slow for the next few months. Although, as we look ahead to the rest of 2024, hopefully, if interest rates do come down as is expected, that would mean that the tech layoffs will finally subside.
Are you guys optimistic about job retention in 2024? In the same light, are you optimistic that we're not going to face a recession anytime soon? Because a recent poll that asked around 900 companies about their outlook for this year wasn't that promising. In fact, 4 out of 10 companies said that they're likely to have layoffs in 2024, especially with their expectation that a recession is happening. 900 companies is a lot, folks. So if you're thinking to yourself that maybe you're at risk, maybe it's time to prepare yourself, Now, just going by the numbers, 28% of small companies are expected to have cuts. 39% of larger companies will do the same, and a whopping 42% of mid-sized companies have confirmed that they're going to have layoffs in 2024. Now, I'm telling you guys, this year is not going to start off so great for a lot of workers, which brings me to kind of a lighthearted story here. Well, it's not quite as lighthearted as it is quite humorous, but I'm gonna let you guys decide for yourself. And just to add to this, if this is actually successful, this person may not have to work another day in their life.
A woman is trying to carve out $5 billion for herself and other Florida residents. She's filed a class action lawsuit against Hershey's makers of Reese's peanut butter cups for false advertising. The Halloween pumpkin-shaped treats seen on the wrappers come with a jack-o'-lantern smile stamped out. But the candies you get don't have the same finger-lickingly wicked smile.
And before you guys comment anything, yes, this is false advertising. Not sure if Hershey's put a disclaimer on their wrappers, but I mean, like, this person has a lot of time on their hands, doesn't she? Also, there are different reports about the suit amount, with some saying that it's like $5 billion and others are saying it's like $5 million. But I guess it really doesn't matter, as both amounts are kind of crazy ludicrous, huh? And on that note, I'm filing a class action lawsuit on M&M's for giving me W's whenever I buy their candies. Now, obviously, I'm just kidding here, guys. This is kind of similar to that in nature. Now, if I was Hershey's, I would probably just say that the chocolate must have melted the design inside the wrapper and just be done with it. But what do you guys think? Please share your thoughts on everything that we talked about today. And before I go, I just want to thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks for hitting the like button and subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next video.